Visalaw is the first immigration intelligence platform built by immigration lawyers for immigration lawyers. We built it to support every area of an immigration law firm's work, not just research, not just drafting, but the full practice of immigration law, restoring attorneys' time for client advocacy. It starts with data. Visalaw AI is built on the largest and most robust immigration law dataset available, curated by immigration attorneys and continuously updated. Every feature, workflow, and AI capability is grounded in authoritative immigration law. The platform is built with enterprise-grade security, and customer data is never retained or used to train AI models. Our improved case law tools deliver faster, deeper legal analysis with clear authority, stronger context, and reliable citations you can trust. Our new research agent goes further. It identifies your practice area, checks live government sources for policy changes through GovSync, searches the full catalog of US case law, statutes, and regulations when needed, and verifies every citation before results reach you. Visalaw AI. This is immigration intelligence you can trust.
All right, very cool. Tyler, how are we doing today?
I'm doing well. How are you, Ian?
I'm doing fantastic, and thank you to everybody who's joining us today. My name is Ian Schiller. I'm with the Visalaw AI team, and I'm joined by Tyler as well, our sales director for Visalaw AI. And we're going to be talking a little bit today about Asylum declaration, workflow tips, practical applications, and just good ways to get started in using Visalaw AI, whether you're a current customer and want to learn a little bit more about improvements that you can make in your workflow, or if you are a potential customer, just maybe your first time seeing Visalaw AI. And yeah, we welcome you all in. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm also looking forward to this. Absolutely. And hopefully this helps everybody from NYC to the West Coast, whoever may be joining us today. Glad to have you in. Today, again, like I said, we're going to be going over the workflow aspect of an asylum declaration. If you're interested in Thursday's webinar, we're going to be going over our drafting process. This is a distinct sort of second layer. This is usually sort of how we break this up. There's sort of like two parts to this. Your workflow, where you're getting things started, you're jumping a case off, you're working with your paralegals, discussing, any material that you may need, discussing strategy, all of these things. Thursday is specifically about drafting, so I'm going to put that into the chat and let you all, if you want to join that, you can go ahead and register for that as well. Same time, 12 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. East Coast. So as we get started here, Tyler, for people who aren't familiar with Visalaw AI, can you give us a little bit of information about what Visalaw AI is and how immigration lawyers are using it?
Yeah, absolutely. Visalaw AI is an immigration intelligence platform. At a high level, we provide one platform, all powered by AI, all very specific to the practice of immigration law, designed to give you help and support throughout the lifespan of the case. If you're familiar with Visalaw already, the core functionality that we support is based around AI-powered legal research and AI petition drafting. But really what we're going to dive into today is really showing how Visalaw can do kind of the middle work, right? The case preparation, help us holistically work through a case, not just answer our one-off legal research questions, not just help us draft that one petition or declaration in this case, but kind of help us throughout the span of the case. So that's what we're going to be focused on today. And yeah, that's my quick summary of what Visalaw is.
Absolutely. And so for anybody who's just joining us in your first time, the best next step you can take after today's demo is to go ahead and book a one-on-one demo with Tyler, with Jack, with Josh, with Will on our sales team, so that you can learn a little bit about how things would work specifically within your environment, whether you're a solo practitioner or you're working with a larger organization with other attorneys. And as we get started today, Tyler's exactly right. We're going to be discussing how immigration teams can quickly organize and evaluate asylum declarations, and all the things that sort of go with that. So as we get started with this, Tyler, and we pull things up, I'm going to also give just a quick primer as well. If you have questions today, We are happy to get to those. Just send a comment in, post a comment, and we'll do our best to answer that during the demo. And if we can't, we'll come back to it at the end. If you want a copy of anything that we do today, I'm going to put my email in the chat here in one moment. If you want a copy of any of the outputs, take a closer look at them as we answer them. We are happy to provide those as well. And if you have any follow-up questions at the conclusion, also happy to provide you with the right resources to get you going there. And we'll also record this session. So if you have to step out, you're running late, anything like that, you'll get that right back to your inbox. And you can share that with all your colleagues as well, as we hope you will. All right, Tyler, so let's go ahead and just dive right in. What are we seeing here as we jump into the Visalaw platform?
Yeah, absolutely. So what we're seeing here, this is more or less our dashboard view of Visalaw. This is going to be the view that we're greeted with when we first log into the system. If you've seen Visalaw previously, you would know that this has been an updated view that we transitioned to within the last couple months here as we've transitioned to Visalaw 2.0. Everything as far as the chat functionality is going to be consolidated to this one view, and we can easily get to work from this one view, no matter what task we're trying to accomplish. This kind of chat style functionality is what we're going to be focused on during today's demo. As Ian mentioned, after we get through some of the case preparation that we're doing on today's call, on Thursday, we will transition into the drafting of the declaration. So definitely stay tuned for Thursday's call as well. But to start going through the functionality here, I want to call our attention first to the law library to give everyone context with where we're pulling the information from for all of our legal research questions that we pose to the system here. So I'm going to jump us into the law library, and we're going to take a look at the categories that are found here within the law library. So this is essentially the collection of content that's being utilized for our legal research in our chat functionality. If I look at the filters here, this is going to be categorized by both primary law materials and secondary materials. Within the primary law materials that we're collecting, it's going to include AAO decisions, BIA decisions, both published and unpublished, statutes, regulations, BALCA, USCIS. All of these subcategories here make up the primary law materials found in our law library. In addition to those, we are also powered by AILA. So we are including AILA's content and AILA links content within our law library as well. All in all, we're confident in saying this is going to be the largest immigration law data set in the world. This is updated on a very regular basis here. If we look at the date uploaded field, we can already see quite a bit of contents being added this morning. Looks like we do already have a question. Is the library automatically updated when precedence changes? Absolutely. So we do have an automated process of getting new content in here. When websites update, it's automatically pulled into the law library. And for those sources that we pull from that we cannot scrape automatically, we do have manual curators on our team whose responsibility at Visalaw is to curate this law library, vet everything that's coming in, and ensure that the law library is up to date as possible here. So short answer, yes there.
Yeah, that's an excellent point, and it kind of connects with a lot of our larger points and sort of the differentiation between us and like a ChatGPT or a Claude. Obviously, we're built on this backbone of authoritative legal research sources, trusted sources that you're already using probably. In addition to the fact that there is this recency problem with a ChatGPT or a Claude, where they're only as good as their recent training data. We're as good as the information that is input every single day, every single morning, that is vetted by people, that is scraped automatically. And we also have a feature called GovSync, which I don't know that we're going to dive too much into today, but we'll definitely mention it as we get back to the chat function here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to piggyback off that law library and everything that Ian just mentioned, that's really the value of Visalaw on the legal research component, right? We're curating the largest immigration law data set in the world. And what we're about to show is that we're closing off this AI chat to only look through the content of that law library and or only the content of these government websites that we're also linked with when we have this GovSync toggle on. And that kind of brings us to this chat interface here, and I'll briefly explain it so we have the context of what these toggles are doing as we go through today's demo, but we won't spend a ton of time going through this. Anytime we have research on, we have the comfort knowing that we're searching through the law library and not the larger internet, right? When we have research on, it's only searching through the law library, but when we turn GovSync on with the legal research component, it is searching both the law library plus the government websites such as USCIS, DOL, DOJ that we are synced with here. So it's essentially doing a cross-reference only against the law library and only against the government websites that we're linked to. Anytime we turn GovSync on and keep legal research on, we are now only searching through the law library. It is no longer searching through the government's websites in this scenario. And we do understand that case preparation, sometimes it is beneficial to search the web, right? Sometimes we do want to go out and explore beyond the government websites or the law library. We can turn the research off and we can run a web search here for those broader types of questions that we're asking. So this would be more in line of what you would expect out of like a ChatGPT or a more general AI tool. But again, from a legal research perspective, the biggest value of Visalaw is when you're asking these questions with the legal research toggle on, you have the comfort of knowing it's getting pulled from the largest immigration law data set in the world, and one that prioritizes the recent updates, and we're constantly curating that law library.
And this is good news for people who are doing the research because, if you are using a ChatGPT or a Claude, while they are extremely valuable and, they can definitely build you a fantastic workout regimen or give you some great trip itinerary plans. Visalaw AI is built specifically for immigration lawyers. You're not going to be, pulling things from Reddit. You're not pulling things from Wikipedia. You're only getting the vetted sources. So that's sort of the underlying point behind all of that.
Absolutely. So we would be able to come in here and just simply ask our legal research questions. And that's a perfectly, a really popular use case within Visalaw's legal research functionality, obviously. But we're going to take that a step further. We're going to run our legal research questions, kind of knowing that we're working on a specific project, a specific case, right? So what we're going to do is we're actually going to bypass this screen and we're going to go into the project area. We're going to create a project here. Now, projects within Visalaw can be utilized for various purposes. We can start a general project, like a general folder to tie things back to, but we can also open a project for a specific case, and that's what we're going to be showing off today. So I can view all my projects that I've already created here, but we're going to create a new project for this asylum declaration that we're going to work on. So I'm going to change this project type from a general project to a case, and you'll see it will open up a couple of fields for me, such as the case type and the client number. This is going to be an asylum declaration case that we're working on, or project file that we're working on for an asylum case. I'm going to provide this this project with a name here, and this is going to be for Maria. So we're going to include Maria's name. I believe it's Maria Lopez that we're building a case for.
Yes, Maria Lopez, our Honduran national. And of course, this is a mock case. This is a total fabrication.
Yes.
And we'll go over this. We'll sort of go over the mock case overview. But yes, she had, just for the details as you're putting this in, she has a daughter, Sophia Lopez, also as well, and a younger brother who was killed after refusing gang recruitment is sort of the backbone of this and some of the underlying context as well.
Yeah. So as we can see here, if we have a client number within our case management system, we can add a client number. Sometimes it's easier to search for that number, so it can be helpful to keep that consistent with your case management system here. And all the description of the case that Ian's mentioning, we could also fill in here just to provide us with that description and keep everything associated with the project file here. Now, in the event that we were sharing this, or we needed more members of my team to have access to this one case, this one project, I do have the ability to share this with other members of my organization here. But we're simply going to create the project, and we're going to take a look at what this case or this project looks like now. There's a lot of information on this screen. This is kind of our dashboard view now that we're inside the project. Starting with the top left, we'll see here that we have the same research functionality that we had previously. So instead of running a general legal research question, a general chat, I can now run that chat directly from within the project, so everything links back to the project here. You'll notice at the bottom, we don't have any kind of files uploaded quite yet, but this is where I would upload all the documents that are related to this project, any kind of summaries or translations that I'm going to include for this project, as well as any drafts that I've drafted within Visalaw that need to be associated to this project as well. We do have some project details here, very basic information that may be consistent information with what's found in your case management system. And then lastly, here's the chat history. So as I start to run chats, as we'll see, our chat history is going to save over here for us. So the first step in running the case preparation work that we're going to focus on during today's call is we're going to upload all of the documents from our client. These are going to be all the relevant documents for this case here. And I have a few different options in getting documents into our system here. The first and most simple option is going to be just to simply drag and drop a folder of documents into the system. As long as I'm working with an extracted folder, I have the ability to upload an entire folder into the system. I don't have to upload these documents one by one. If I had already saved these documents in Visalaw in a different area, I could just come down and simply select the documents for Maria's case. But this will be my first time uploading her documents into the system, so I don't have these in here quite yet. And we have announced our first batch of integration partners as well. So we are integrating with Clio, with DocketWise. INS Zoom is about to go live if it's not already, including Google Drive and SharePoint. So there's a good chance that we have an integration with your case management or document management system. And if those documents live in those applications, you could easily link your workspace together and just simply select on the documents from your other system to appear in the project file. So no matter where the documents live, we have a relatively easy way to get those into the system. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just simply drag and drop Maria's supporting documents into this box here, and we're going to attach the 7 files that we have for Maria's declaration here. We won't spend a ton of time here, but we do have the ability to categorize these. We can even create subcategories and add notes in relation to these documents. And if I needed to, I could rename this file from this screen as well if I had to do so. But we're just going to simply save all these documents here. And we will finalize the upload process. And now we can see here under files and specifically the documents tab, all of Maria's documents for this case are found within the one project file here.
We do have a question, Tyler, is SharePoint live or soon to be live? I believe that it is soon to be live if I had to speak now.
Yeah, I believe so, Laura. It may be live already. Let me check on that, and we'll get that back to you on confirmation with SharePoint specifically.
This is one of the problems where we don't have accounts for all of the integrations that we have, and so sometimes we gotta keep ourselves up to date here and not speak too soon about what is live and what is not live. But excellent question, Laura, and happy to get that checked for you.
It is OneDrive specifically, which is going to be linked to SharePoint, Laura. So it is live right now. You should easily be able to click on your email address down here, and you would be able to connect your OneDrive account, which would point to your SharePoint instance as well. Great question. So now that we have all the project files uploaded for this case, we're going to begin with the case preparation. So we have a few different options here, but we're going to just simply ask our questions within the chat here on the project. The first thing we're going to ask for is to generate a declaration timeline. So I'm going to copy in this prompt that we have pre-built in preparation for the webinar. But this is essentially just asking for a chronological timeline using all of the content that I just uploaded, include dates or approximate dates, locations, events, people involved, et cetera, et cetera. And it's also asking it to flag unclear or missing dates. I'm going to go ahead and start to run this. I do want to call out what this is searching through, however. So again, we have the research toggle on. So we know that we have the safety net that we're searching through the law library specifically and not searching through the larger internet, the web, right? So when it comes to how immigration professionals should be working in asylum declaration, it is going to be pulling from A-list content and all the primary law resources that are found in the law library. It's not going to be pulling from forums and other places on the internet where you might find out-of-date information. In addition to the law library, the AI also has the context of the 7 project files that we already uploaded. This is pretty powerful because instead of just searching through our law library, we are now specifically searching through Maria's supporting documents for her case. So we get the benefit of using that powerful law library, but also getting the context of the client files here. So instead of, and I'm going to go ahead and run this, but instead of just logging into Visalaw and asking a legal research question, this is how we can start to use the power of the law library and look at the specific client files as well.
And this is an excellent point sort of to mention that these prompts that we're showing you, we're happy to provide. We also are happy to provide any of these prompts if you want to reach out to me and I can share some of our best tips for that. But these prompts are very much your building blocks for getting great answers here. As you can see, one being generated currently, and we'll move through these pretty quickly. So again, send me an email if you want a copy of these. But these prompts, the more detailed you make your prompts, usually the better output. These are fairly simple sort of research questions. You don't necessarily want to make your prompts Google searches, right? You kind of want it to be a little bit more detailed. If you want specific outputs, you need to sort of request those in natural language as they come. And so as we look over the facts of this case, Tyler, and sort of the timeline here as well, this is also a good point to mention that because we're dealing with asylum cases that are dealing with sensitive information, it's your responsibility as the attorney to make sure that your client's information remains safe, it remains private, does not break any client confidentiality agreements. This is a big problem with sort of the frontline LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude. If you do not have an enterprise account with those and you're using this client information, this is really, really dangerous for you, for the client, for everybody involved. In addition to the fact that this is a little known fact you may or may not be aware of, these LLMs like ChatGPT or Claude, if you do not have one of these enterprise sort of contractual agreements between them, and you will know if you do, and you submit information like this, not only are you breaking client confidentiality, there are also, there may be things in this case because it is an asylum declaration that are, dealing with violence or something really sensitive like that. And there are humans in the loop with LLMs, your ChatGPTs and your Claudes that can get you flagged, can get you flagged as a user. And you don't really want that because that could lead to, all sorts of other repercussions down the line. So just some things to keep in mind and why Visalaw is built specifically for this, because we have these data privacy agreements in place with you.
Absolutely. I think that's a really important point. These general AI tools such as Chat, such as Claude, they're great tools. I use them every day. They're not designed to take on the work of an immigration professional and handle the sensitive material that you're going to be utilizing, where Visalaw is specifically built to handle that. So we can see that chart here with the chronological timeline. We won't spend a ton of time going through all the details of these answers, but we're also going to be provided with that summary here. And again, we'll flag unclear or missing dates as well. And as always, going to provide us with the conclusion and potential follow-up questions to kind of prompt us to continue working this case here. We're going to go into another use case. And again, if we have any questions, feel free to put them into the chat. I will call out again, that chat history is starting to compile here. So as I run these different chats, they will continue to save here so I can refer back to those chats as I need to. The second prompt we're going to run is going to be asking the system to map facts to the Asylum elements here. So we're going to run this, and as it runs, we'll kind of call out what it's specifically looking at. So creating an Asylum case prep chart using the uploaded materials, organize the facts and evidence under these headings, identify in the nationality, past harm, feared future harm, protected grounds, et cetera, et cetera. It's specifically asking the system not to write the legal memo, because again, back to Ian's original point, the more specific we can be with the output we're looking for, the better result we're going to have. Again, we don't want to talk to this like it's a Google search. We almost want to talk to this like it's an assistant that's working for us, because at the end of the day, that's kind of what this is doing. And to sum up the prompt here, we're just giving it, again, that added context of what we're wanting it to focus on specifically. So we're provided with those facts here and kind of that same bullet point list that we saw previously.
Absolutely. And so one of the things that this should do is this should allow your attorneys to get a structured issue map, and hopefully staff also get like a checklist of document collection they come back to with the client in this case. If there is any additional things needed or anything, and you can do this much faster than you maybe would have otherwise if you were just sort of manually reviewing this and working with your paralegals. A couple questions here that we'll get to. So this one is this feature included as part of the core plan? Is this part of the pay-as-you-go casework? So you would pay for each declaration drafted. This is an excellent question.
Yeah, it's a great question. Simply put, this is included in the core plan. So the pay-as-you-go component of Visalaw is specifically when we go to draft the Asylum brief, but also the declaration for the Asylum. So great question, but this is all going to be functionality. You can use unlimited amounts within the core plan.
Yes, 100%. And then the drafting structure, we can talk about that on Thursday. We do offer packages of drafts, and you're going to get those at a really great price point, like per draft price point. But you can also pay as you go if you just wanted one draft at a time. Right. Maybe you're not doing a ton of drafts in a month. That may be the better option for you. But we're happy to discuss all of that, or you can check out our pricing page as well if you want to learn a little bit more about it there. I'll also bring up just the fact that, maybe a difference between ChatGPT and Claude is you're not going to be sort of penalized for usage with Visalaw AI. This is something that we're seeing quite a bit. You hear about, the cost of tokens these days. Those can really run up if you're trying to, run an enterprise account. You may not be paying that face value sort of plan that you started with. You're still paying for tokens. And Visalaw, that's not really the same kind of issue that you're going to have. Second question here: does the prompt library contain the prompts that you used in this demo? Yeah, go ahead.
The short answer, William, is not yet, but they absolutely could be. Ian and I kind of work together just to create these prompts for these webinars, but prompts are easily, you can easily add this into your skills or prompt area. And just for the sake of showing you how to do that, we'll do that with the remaining time that we have left. For anybody not familiar with these skills, these are essentially just the use cases that we've pre-built within Visalaw. So the style of asking these questions can simply be found in these prompts here. And we have the ability to create our own skills. So just like I'm typing in the answer, or I'm sorry, the question that I'm asking of the AI, we can just simply provide that to the AI and run these use cases over and over again. So if I were to start from scratch, I could just simply, and I'm building a skill for the third and final question that we're going to ask. And then this will probably take us right to the time. I'm going to kind of quickly give it a name. And this will do for now. Oh, description. We're going to call this the same just because I don't want to put a lot of thought into it. So we're going to quickly save that skill, and we can see here that just simply in my skills library, I now have that skill available to run. It is worth noting that we do have the ability to use an AI skill assistant to help us write the skills for us. And we can edit an existing skill that can be a skill that we've pre-built as well. So just to wrap up, we are going to now use the skill that we just created for our third and final use case. So we're going to use that skill. We're going to select the documents in Maria's client files here. We're going to select all. And this is kind of where we'll sum up with our third and final skill. But this gap analysis and client follow-up questions is the final skill. And in that short amount of time, kind of showing you how you can quickly and easily add skills so that you don't have to recreate the instructions to the AI each time you go to run the same use case here.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And it's also great that you can edit these skills because you will learn as you do this, maybe for certain things that you're looking for from the AI, and it'll help you build sort of an iterative process of getting that perfect prompt to get the workflow and match the things that you're consistently looking for with your clients.
Absolutely. And while this loads, I see one other question that we can quickly get to as well, Ian. In regards to templates for the declaration, I assume we're talking about the drafting functionality, and if so, yes, 100%. We do have a template tool that is also easy to use. Takes about 1 to 2 minutes to upload a template for a declaration, as an example. The system is not going to use any content from that template. It is going to use that template for the style in which you write, the way you position certain arguments, your tonality, etc. So you can absolutely upload templates to help you with drafting.
Yes, and one more question here that kind of ties in everything we're talking about. What is the distinction between a prompt and a skill? There is no distinction. It's just sort of what we call our prompts.
Yeah.
So they are one and the same here. So excellent question. Oh, and
yeah,
one more question that I was going through as I clicked off. Can you share skills across accounts? If you create a skill and then you want to pass it off to a colleague.
If I'm not mistaken, yes, you should be able to make them public or private. I'll double check that to make sure that's the case, but the skills should be easily accessible by anybody in your organization as long as they are a public skill. I believe that's the case, Ryan. We can definitely follow up with you to confirm, but these should be accessible from anybody in your organization as long as you don't mark them as a private skill. And we'll go back just to our final chat here. And as we can see, as we're kind of wrapping up here, this is going to provide us in this last use case. We're really asking for missing facts or any unclear points to fix. But as a result of that, we're also asking the AI to come up with kind of plain language follow-up questions for our client so that we can gather the documents and gather the facts that the AI determined were missing here.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we've come upon time. We're happy to stay on to answer any additional questions because I know that we've got some really great ones that are happening right now. So feel free to submit some additional questions here as we sort of reach time. Also put a link in the chat here. If you want to just go and visit and learn a little bit more asynchronously and visit our website, you can go through that link that I've just shared. And I'll return to the point as well. If you have questions, you want to see anything a little bit more closely today that we've drafted, and if you just need additional resources, you can also email me. Happy to set that up. Especially if you are a current customer and need some additional support, we're happy to get you linked with our customer success team who's looking to give you the best tools possible. And if you are new, the best next step you can take is to scan that QR code, book a demo, or go to our website and book a demo. And so we appreciate that. We do have another question in here, but I'm going to also highlight Ruth's point. Thank you. Great tool. We appreciate that a lot. So what does the final generated draft look like for the declaration? Can you show a sample of that? I'll point you to the registration for Thursday's webinar, we're going to be going through the entire process of drafting a declaration. We don't have one on hand currently because we haven't drafted one currently, but we will show you that on Thursday. So we would love to show you that. And if you don't have time, that's okay. You can still register, and we will send that to you once at the conclusion of the live event as well. So I would encourage anybody who's interested in what the drafted declaration will look like to join that Thursday webinar. All right, and again, I'll highlight that that's a little bit further up in the chat, one of the earlier ones that we sent, or you can email me. Again, everything comes back to the fact that you can email me and get everything set up. If you would like, you can email me at ian@visalaw.ai. Any last points that you want to share with everybody, Tyler, as we sort of reach the end today?
I really think the only thing is, I know we were hyper specific on the Asylum declaration. These use cases that we're going through, this case preparation that we're showing off, can really be done with any case type that we're working on as a firm and throughout your team. So again, hyper specific in today's example, but really this can be applied to any case that we're working on as we're working with our clients here.
Yes, 100% true. And as you look, if you check out Visalaw's website and you look through our platform and what drafting capabilities we have, those are not one-to-one in terms of what is available within our tool. As to just sort of highlight Tyler's point, we've got a range of drafting softwares, and we continue to expand that every single week. The Asylum declarations are actually one of our newest drafting capabilities, but you were always able to do these workflow sort of items because we have the immigration law library that is working to get you these tools. So anything that you're working on, you can use this with the legal research chat function that we highlighted today. Anything that you're working on, any of your workflow items, even if it's not related necessarily to casework, it can be done with the legal research tool, and the drafting tool is sort of the separate side of this that we'll talk about on Thursday. Absolutely. Well, thank you guys so much. I don't see any additional questions, so we really appreciate you taking the time today to join us and to be engaging as well and ask some really fantastic questions. We hope that this was beneficial for you. Again, we hope that we will get in contact with you. Happy to get any feedback or questions as well. And if you're going to AILA Annual, we will see you there in San Diego, booth 402. If you want to talk to us one-on-one in that situation, you can also. We're going to have some giveaway prizes at the table as well. And so with that, I think that's pretty much everything we've got to cover today, Tyler. So I appreciate your time, and I appreciate everybody who joined us today. So thank you so much.
Thanks, everyone.
All right, have a good one, guys.